All right, good morning, Nigeria, and welcome to Cool TV, Channel 196 and Star Times. My name is Dr. Banjo, and this is Crossfire. This is your political platform where we discuss controversial issues, and we'll just try as much as possible to ensure Nigerians are enlightened and they are educated about what is going on in our society. It's a very beautiful morning. I'm not alone in the studio. I have a couple of people that will be running the show together as usual. Ishoma, good morning. How are you?
Good, thank you. Good morning and welcome to Crossfire today.
All right, I have a gentleman with us. He's been here a couple of times, and you know, as usual, I mean, in his very militant form, he's very present in the studio. I'm not saying he's a militant. I'm just simply saying, you know, he's someone who really very passionate about, you know, this country. And so every time when it comes to discussing national issues, I mean, we try to reach out to people like this to just help us throw more light on some issues and goings on in the society. Let's welcome Kive Kokori. Kive, good morning.
Welcome.
Good
How are you doing
morning.
today?
Always a pleasure to be here. But remember, militants, many of them are now billionaires, and I'm not. So it doesn't.
I guess it's turn by turn. I think maybe your turn is just around the corner, you know. And then we have another gentleman who is joining us on the show today. He's no other person but comrade Murphy Abadoni. Comrade, how are you doing this morning? I mean, you're quite close to me. It's good to have you on Crossfire. When we say Crossfire, don't worry, you're not on a hot seat. I mean, but we will discuss hot issues. And so I'm very sure before we end the show, maybe the seat gets hot too, you know, kind of, and all of that. But Murphy is Kive is your friend. And I'm very sure when we start to discuss about issues, even if you differ, I think the distance between the two of you, we'll try to allow some kind, so that the blows when it starts, you know.
Well, we hope that's avoided.
All right. We have a couple of national issues to discuss on Crossfire today. And we'll be bringing you stories exactly just the way it is, and then we will try and do as much analysis as we can. Don't forget that it's been 100 days of President Muhammadu Buhari in government, and a lot of people are beginning to wonder if really and truly President Muhammadu Buhari has achieved anything in 100 days, or people are just of the opinion that it's still the Baba go slow, as some school of thoughts may have it. All right, let's quickly take a look at some of stories that are making headlines. Federal government withdraws diplomatic passport from ex-governors and ministers and commissioners and former ambassadors, chairman of local government. If peradventure it's extended to councillors, everybody who is holding Nigerian diplomatic passports must submit as long as they are no more in office. So the federal government has ordered the immediate withdrawal of diplomatic and official passports to unauthorized holders, including former governors, ministers, and legislators. This latest directive was contained in a statement signed yesterday by the new Comptroller General of Immigration, Martins Abechi. Now, Mr. Abechi said further to the directive on the withdrawal of diplomatic and official passports held by unauthorized persons in Nigeria, the Immigration Service directs all affected persons to comply immediately. Those affected include former state governors, senators, members of the House of Representatives, and members of state houses of assemblies. And it trickles down, because I read the full report, and it goes all the way down to even chairman of local government and all of that. Even civil servants who probably have diplomatic responsibilities, and they travel often with the same passport. Now, I'm beginning to wonder as a Nigerian, and my position is just that it is good to have a diplomatic passport. It makes life easy for you as a public office holder. But the moment you are out of office, now let's look at this story from this dimension. How come we always struggle to take back the things that are attached to a particular office of a public office holder? Let's look at it from there, and then we can narrow down to the issue of the diplomatic passports. How come when you give them cars, they want to drive it home when they leave office? When you give them laptops, they don't want to drop it when they are finally leaving office? Virtually everything that is attached to the office, they want to go home with it. Now, is it that public office holders, in their credibility and integrity, don't always realize that it is attached to the office and not to them? That means when you are going home, or when you resign or you retire, you have to leave those things back because they belong to that office, not to you as an individual. Why do we always have this play out by public office holders? Murphy?
Yes. First of all, let me answer your question. You said why?
Yeah.
It is because of the culture of corruption, the culture of impunity. Otherwise, why would somebody go into an office for an appointment, either by election
Or selection,
and you go there, you meet a private vehicle, private car, in a private house, private this and that. And at the expiration of your tenure, you decide to take them home.
Could it be because we've had leaders who have lacked integrity? I mean, integrity in the true sense of it.
Maybe the predecessor actually went home with this.
No. First of
Maybe
all,
he didn't meet those
it's because
things.
there is this culture of corruption, impunity. Why do I say so? So, like recently, there was a story about Rotimi Amechi. I don't know how true that could be, even if I trashed it. Going out of the government house with furniture like chairs and tables.
And the government house was entirely looted.
You ask yourself, how much is the most expensive chair in the world that an Amechi cannot afford? But because of this culture of do it the way you like, it was during Obasanjo's tenure, we discovered that virtually all the House of Rep members eventually bought the houses that were given to them while in office. So what happens to those who comes after your tenure?
The government
will have to now go and begin to build houses at the expense of you and I, we Nigerians, to give to the next set. And when they are going, they also lobby to buy it. So it's this culture of impunity, recklessness, not being accountable to the system and to especially we Nigerians. Otherwise, why would you in the first place? Why would you? You work in a private organization, you would not do so. The moment they say you are sacked or the moment you are retired,
all company properties are withdrawn
immediately. So why is it different when it comes to government?
No, but Murphy, there's something we do in the private sector. Kive, before you take your, your comment, there's something we do in the private sector when you are retiring or you resigned and you are leaving the office. There's something we call clearance.
Even if the
you go to account, you go to HR, you go to the library, you go to a lot of places. Even in our university days, we do clearance.
Yes.
You are not going to take your call-up letter from the school to go and serve until you are cleared by all departments that you have dealings with while you were in school. I don't see any reason why we cannot do clearance for public office holders when they are leaving. These are the things you signed that you received when you are occupying that office.
You will not get your entitlement.
And we should get it back when you are leaving.
Exactly. Or you will not get your entitlement.
Let's hear from Kive.
It's actually embarrassing that we're actually having this conversation. And it's embarrassing that it is even news. Because in a decent society, this thing is two-sided. One side is the responsibility of people who hold public office. And the second side is the inability of the government agencies or departments to actually enforce, to make sure that those public office holders return every government property that is with them. So it's two-sided. The thing is, we have run a country that people have become so irresponsible. And people now feel that public office is a place to enrich yourself. And because there are we don't pursue the laws to make sure that people who do such things are brought to book and that they are punished for whatever they do. Ideally, in a normal, decent society, if you leave an office, whether private or public, you should return everything that was given to you as part of that office, ideally, right? But even if you don't, there should be, as you said, there should be a process of disengagement of anybody that is leaving office, whether private or public. You understand? There must be a process where you go and they tick the box. Make sure that everything that is with you, you've returned them, you signed off before you actually leave. Let me give you an example. There was something I read recently about something in Akwa Ibom, I think. One of the candidates was being accused that he did not resign his office before contesting, right? And the reason why they were saying that, one of the reasons was that he was still getting paid because he claimed that he had resigned. But he was still getting paid his salaries and what is it called? All his emoluments. So even the system itself has a problem because those things are supposed to be stopped automatically when you do a clearance. That means in government offices, there are no clearance. People just go there, leave, they carry their passport, they carry their cars, they carry anything, and they go away with it.
As a matter of fact, information have it that people who have left public offices in the last 5-6 years, even more than that, are still carrying diplomatic passports.
No, but I need to understand the problem.
I mean, maybe once a diplomat is always a diplomat. Maybe.
Which is wrong. You mentioned about the agencies. Now, I'm looking at it from another angle because I see our agencies as not... They haven't been empowered to be able to live up to the responsibility to act independent, to be able to carry their duties, because we still see some of them acting under fear and favor, probably because, okay, this particular individual is a friend to this individual. If I do my job now, if I try to follow due process to do my job, they could get me out of office because of this individual. So don't you think that is the issue? That's why they cannot do what they're supposed to do to the people of Nigeria. Fear and favor.
Look, let's not give excuses for
I'm saying,
the thing is that, the system is messed up. We all know that.
It's messy.
So we need to get the agency.
But because the system is messed up does not mean that people should not do what is right.
Okay.
Do you understand? But the thing is, the system has to, because human nature generally, even if you go to the UK or the US where things work, usually if laws are not enforced, if the system, the government does not make sure that these laws are enforced and people get punished if they break the laws, a lot of people will break the laws anyway. Do you understand? If you tell somebody not to pee by the side of the road, if the person pees by the side of the road and nothing happens today, do you think he won't do it tomorrow? He will. So our system is messed up. The system has also messed up Nigerians as individuals. A lot of us are messed up. A lot of us don't even know what is right anymore. We believe what is wrong is right.
I was still saying that, Kive, this morning. I was driving behind about 4 cars, and then we got to a very small roundabout, and all of them did not go through the roundabout. They just did a shortcut. Yeah. And I was telling the person we were in the same car, and I said, you see, they've done this over time that they don't even know what the use of a roundabout is any longer. You see, because...
They only comply when they probably see a last official or the policeman.
Maybe during the day.
When you comply, they will even abuse you.
Some are even bigger than the last mile official, and when they get there, the man gives them a short sign.
Now you see what I said as regards with the agencies. Could it now also be that these agencies are not working because of some personalities, fear and favor, those two issues?
No, obviously.
Because they believe this individual is bigger.
Leadership.
Yeah, but it all boils down to that same culture
of corruption and when things are done with impunity.
If I take up a job, there are ethics in every job. If I am devoted, if it gets to the point where I have to compromise because of one boss or one politician or one big wigs somewhere, I should be able to say, no, I'm not going to take this, and I'm resigning. But because of this culture, we don't see that here. Like when he mentioned, in sane societies, that is what you see. People say, no, I'm not going to do this.
And also because in sane society, the law protects those individuals because they have a justiciable act. They can present probably to the tribunal to say, okay, you put me in compromise, you put my job in compromise. But look, I mean, we're not having all of that. Our laws are weak. They're not even protecting those who should be protected.
Anyways,
these laws are man-made laws. They are not from God. So these laws,
man-made laws built on
I'm coming.
Natural law,
yes,
given to us by God,
to be made to happen by same man, meaning that each and every one of us has a role to play in ensuring that these laws work. The laws are there. We have beautiful
fantastic
laws.
Okay.
Let me sum that up.
Before we go on, we'll quickly go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll still be discussing about issues of national interest. We'll be right back.
So, did you like what you just saw? I know you did. It's very simple. If you want to see more, just subscribe to our channel right now.